LC Green, welcome to Gumbo Live. As I promised you when this show first started, that we would be, not only would it be fun, but it would be informative. And I think we're in for a very special treat today, because today we have the 4 candidates running for sheriff of Barber County, along with the sheriff. The sheriff himself is here, and the 3 challengers are here. And I want to say that these men, when I asked them to come on the show, they did not hesitate. All of them said, just let us know when. And as soon as I let them know when, they are here, and they're here. And they're going to express themselves. They're freely. There's no prearranged anything. There's no prearranged anything. Nobody's paying to be on this show. I always tell you that. This is my show. First of all, I think it'd be only fair that the candidates introduce themselves, and I think proper protocol would be for the sheriff to introduce himself first, and then we'll go in line if the gentlemen agree. All right? All right, thank you. All right.
My name is Leroy Upshaw. I'm the Barber County Sheriff. I've been sheriff on my 8th year now.
All right.
George Hill. It's my first time running for sheriff of Barber County.
Richard Peterson, native of Barber County, and this is my 2nd attempt at the office of sheriff. Glad to be here.
I'm Ronnie Benefield. I am chief of police at Louisville. I've been there for 3.5 years, and it's good to be here.
All right. Thank you, gentlemen. Thank you, gentlemen. How about this? Let's do this here now. Y'all were very formal with your introduction. You're very formal with your introduction. Now, I want you to relax. Tell us about your family. I know when I start talking about my family, that's the best way for me to relax. So tell us about your family. Tell us about your family. Tell us where you live. Things like that. So what I want to do when this program is over, I want the folks to know you. That's what I want them to do. I want them to know you. And one way, we always ask about your children and your wife. You know how we do. Come on, Sheriff. You start first.
Okay. I'm a native of Barber County. I'm born and raised here. I live out in the Spring Hill community, which is in the north end of Barber County, on County Road 49. I'm married to Stephanie Upshaw. She was a loan officer at Compass Bank here on Broad Street in Eufaula. Been married for 13 years now. I have an 11-year-old son, Brandon Upshaw. He goes to Applemore Middle School.
All right. Thank you. George, tell us about yourself.
George Hill. I'm a Barber County native. Actually was on the last state championship football team, Eufaula High won back in '81. I live with my mother, who's elderly and disabled, who I take care of now. We reside at 607 Pump Station, and for the last 3 years, I've been assisting running attorney school for Eufaula City Schools, but prior to that, I had over 25 years of law enforcement experience, and that's I have one daughter who resides in Las Vegas, Nevada. I'm a single man. That way, if elected sheriff of Barber County, I'll be married to the county.
Okay, married to the county. All right. Make sure the camera picked that up. Okay. You had us almost scared there for a minute. Come on, Mr. P.
All right, Richard Peterson, again, native of Barber County, grew up here in Eufaula, graduated Eufaula High School in 1982. Have 3 children, 22 years old, 17, and 15. Have 3 children, 22 years old, 17, and 15-year-old son. Single parent. My son resides with me, 15 years old. He's at Eufaula High School, 9th grade. Same school that I graduated from. 28-year law enforcement history. Federal officer right now, actually teach law enforcement.
We're going to get to that. We're going to get to that. Yeah, we're going to get to that. No, now you got 3 boys?
I got 2 daughters and a son.
And a son, okay.
Yes, sir.
All right. Come on, Chief.
I am, again, Ronnie Benefield. I'm a native of here of Barber County. Lived here all my life. I am married. Nina is her name. We've been married for 42 years. Got married at an early young age of 2 weeks shy of 17. I have 2 children, Tara and Michael. Both of them are married. Michael has 2 sons, and Tara has 1. So I've got 3 grandsons and wonderful family.
All right, all right. Now, I always brag about, when I talk about my show, I always brag about the fact that this is my dime. I pay for this show. Nobody can tell me what to do. Nobody can tell me who my guest's gonna be. I like being independent like that. I don't take money from nobody for my show. So, by saying that, my next question to you, all 4 of you, how is your campaign being financed? Who controls you? If I'm not being too blunt.
Which one answer first?
Anybody who want to answer
I'll
first?
answer first.
All right.
No one controls me as sheriff. No one's in control of me. County commissioner, nor any citizen tells me what to do. My finances come mainly from me. As probably most of these guys, my finances in a campaign have to be funded from them. Now, there are also always small contributors. Benny Whitehead's contributed some money to my campaign. Frog Pond Turf has contributed some to my campaign. But other than that, most of it has been out of my own pocket.
Okay, now you threw a word in there that got me asking a question. You said mainly. And so the other ones, the other kind come from the names that you just mentioned, if I'm right to assume that?
Right, they contribute
Okay,
some money.
all right.
But they don't control me.
Okay, all right.
George, see, I like to reiterate on the family part. My mother and sister won't let me forget this. My mother, Johnny Mae Hill, and my 2 sisters, Lorette Hill and Janine Boyer, also resides in Barber County.
All right.
Okay, on to my, who's financing my campaign. I take very much pride in saying this, and I share this with my students at attorney school. I'm financing my own campaign through taking a janitorial job with the Eufaula City School System as a custodian. Once I get off in the evening from my regular job at the Eufaula City School System, I go to the elementary school, the middle school, and the primary with the cleaning crew from 4 to whatever time we get out of there to campaign to fund my campaign.
All right.
Solely upon me.
All right. Peters?
All right, in reference to the question about the who finance, I'm running a grassroots campaign. I finance my own if there is any finance. And I'm running a grassroots campaign. I have no special interest groups. I'm clearly dedicated to the people. And that's where I'm coming from. I'm committed to the people. I'm going to be a people's sheriff. So I'm running a grassroots. I'm taking it to the people, and that's what I'm doing.
Go ahead, Chief, and I got a follow-up question.
I financed the campaign, through the funds that I had made from Chief of Police there at Louisville. And also I pastor a church of 33 years that there's a salary off of that. And we do have, some everyday folks that would like to help in the campaign, which is small dollars, but small dollars count when you're buying materials to distribute out. And but we are taking no others for as the businesses.
Now, let me ask this question. To those of you who are financing your own campaign, and to a certain extent, all of you are, is that at a disadvantage?
Sure, it's at a disadvantage. You're having to spend money out of your own pocket to run for a job that you may or may not get. And you're taking money out of your pocket, which is taking food off your table, and things from your house that you might have bills to pay for. We've got to keep living and run a campaign at the same time. So it's a disadvantage, to have to finance your own campaign. I'm sure some larger campaigns in large counties have much more high percentage of donations than we do. Yes, I would say that.
Now, is it because of federal regulations, or it's just because that's how you decide you want to run your campaign? That's the interview. So when I'm talking about the finances, now I know that there are some federal regulations when you receive campaign funding.
Yes.
So are you not receiving because of the regulations, or just because you just decide that's how you want to run your campaign?
Well, when I decided to actually enter the race and run for sheriff, I planned to finance my own. I had a plan coming in it. I didn't depend on my opportunity to run from contribution. So I had a plan. I work, I still take care of my family, so I had an overall plan as to the entail. It's an expense, but when I decided to run and be a candidate for the people, I knew the expense going in it. So I had a plan coming in it, planned for it to go in it for the duration and do what I needed to do.
Okay.
And likewise, you know, you talking about why we do it, you know, with our finances. I know that I have used credit cards to buy, you know, supplies and stuff therefore. And I know the first round that I had ran for sheriff, I had spent over $15,000 of my own funds. But, you know, you get to looking about why are you running? If you're running for the money, then you're running for the wrong thing. The heart of the people is that I'm running for,
Okay.
and to protect and to serve, you know, them.
All right.
First of all, I take great pleasure in financing my own campaign for the fact that I'm not beholden to any particular party that makes a donation, and I don't have to take any advice from anybody. It's my money, and I can choose to run my campaign how I see fit. And also, it is a disadvantage when you're talking about a school teacher's salary, and when you have to come up with these monies, 2%, just 2% of the sheriff's salary just to qualify. Then you got expenses such as signs, and so I'm doing all of this leg work myself. So, but it's also an enjoyment when you can get out there and stick up your own sign, and I mean I get great pleasure out of that. You know, I check on them like they're my chairman. I make a round every day, scraping them back up when they get bent down. So it's great. It has its pros and it has its cons. But the most important thing to me about financing your own campaign, you're not beholden to any particular group.
Okay, now, I may interrupt you sometimes when you're talking, and I'm just simply doing it for time purpose. My time is getting so much time.
Yes.
Now, all of you have said the politically correct things to say. Who would have access? You said the people. You said the people. And I'm ask the sheriff this first. Is it feasible to say, as sheriff, that everybody will have access to you? Is that feasible?
Sure, everybody has access to you. You know, you can't work 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. You have to have time off to do things. But yeah, everybody has access. You know, most of the problems and the things we get, people want to talk to the sheriff, but you know, 75% of those things they want to talk to the sheriff about, but the deputy can handle it. You know, they can handle the situation. Actually, the deputy's probably better equipped to handle it than the sheriff is. But yeah, they all have access to you. They all have my phone number and cell phone numbers everywhere. And I don't answer phone calls when I'm on the phone with somebody else or talking to somebody else. Now, I don't do that because I think that's rude. But I will make every effort to return the phone call. Now, if there's a problem where, you know, they leave a message and there's a problem that I think a deputy can solve, then I'll get the deputy to do it. That's what your deputies are an extension of you. So you have them work on it.
Now, you heard someone that already is in the position. So hypothetically, how and who would have access to you if you are elected sheriff?
If I'm elected sheriff, like my campaign card say, I will be available for the people of Barber County 24/7. One reason I can say I'm a single man, so I'm not obligated to. I don't have I have a family that I love and dear take care of, but being a single person, I'm more able to get out and do things, like I said, 24/7 in sheriff. I'll be accessible 24/24. I mean, it's easy to sit here and say that, and you know, I work in sheriff departments where, like the sheriff said, the deputy are an extension of you. Because if you can't go through the deputies, what do you need them for if you're going to the sheriff for? So I agree with the sheriff on that.
Okay.
That from that perspective of it. But to let the people know that you can call and you will talk to the sheriff. I'm elected sheriff of Barber County. If not then, later on in the day, or as I will be a working sheriff, as I explained in the article, I will serve civil process to try to alleviate.
Okay, so we're going to get into that.
Okay.
We're going to get into that.
Basically,
I don't want this question
Right.
to get by us.
but
And I'm going to have a follow-up, and I can assure each one of you this. I can assure you this. I don't care how much time it takes. Before we start filming, I will give you opportunity to say anything you want to say.
Okay.
I just need to direct some things, but I promise you that. And if I don't do it, the sheriff can arrest you. And you'll lose a vote.
I don't think that's an arrest.
Well, being that said, I put it in short, I would have an open door policy. And door be open.
Come on.
I believe having access and actually responding is two different things. You know, you could have access to a person, but they never respond or they never return calls. I don't want to be that type of sheriff.
Okay.
If a person takes the time to call me, I consider that it's important. You know, it may not be important to me what the issue is, but it may be important to that individual that called. So I think it's important to at least return that call when a person calls you. So having access and responding is two different things. So I will respond should you call. It doesn't matter.
Okay?
I know you can't work 24/7,
That's right.
but you are an elected official and you are sheriff 24/7.
Okay?
Yes.
All right. See?
Well, I agree with Pete in that summary there. The fact is, that's the truth. But, we forget sometimes we are elected officials. We the people, by the people, and for the people. We are obligated to them to be able to catch their calls or, for them to vent or just to say hello or I want to meet you. I mean, we are a people sheriff in a public office.
Now that sounds good, but let me tell you from a pastor perspective, and you being the chief and you being the sheriff, that's almost impossible. Because you got some folks who who will burn up your time about nothing. But anyway, y'all on the record for saying that. Now I think all of you agree. Now help me if I'm wrong. That deputies are very important. I think all of y'all agree on that.
Yes.
So in the shortest way possible, what kind of deputies would you hire if you became sheriff? And then I'm gonna save you last, and you give us a scenario of what kind of deputies you already have, because you've already hired deputies.
That's right.
And if you become sheriff, what kind of qualities would you look for? And I'm gonna throw this question out too. And you may not be able to answer this, but the sheriff can be thinking about it. That are we complying with the federal regulations so far as females or minorities in our hiring practice? And would that be a consideration for you? You're already in that position, so I'm gonna leave you for last and just try to get a feel. Is that all right with y'all?
Sure.
Yes.
Okay, come on.
Absolutely.
Go ahead, Chief. Let's start on that and work our way this way.
Absolutely. I mean, quality deputies and good deputies are wonderful. You need those because they are your hand reach out to the people. And but here in the county, because it is a big county, you're looking at 900 close to square miles of county that you have to patrol to be able to reach to the people. And you need the deputies, spaced out, that they can respond.
Tell me, Chief, because as Chief you are in the hiring position, what is the number? Give me your top 3 qualities that you look for in a deputy. The top 3 that you look for in a deputy. If you're going to hire a deputy, what are the top 3? Is that the right way to phrase that? The top 3 qualities you look for when you get ready to hire a deputy.
One would be that he has a desire and the willingness to sacrifice time, energies, and life, because that is going to come to surface. And as far as the, age, that is no question on that. I want people with wisdom to be able to, when they go to a call, to be able to discern what to do and how to do. And I believe in order to be able to get quality officers too, we need a competitive salary, for them, because that's very important.
We're going to get into that.
Okay.
Because that's somebody else's department. All right, we're going to get into that. You're going to have to go beg the county for that. Okay? What I want from you gentlemen, to tell me your top 3 qualities that you look for when you're interviewing. Do you have to interview your deputy before you hire? Before you hire deputy, you're interviewing a deputy. I want to know the top 3 qualities you're going to look for in that interview.
Okay. Integrity. You must have integrity. Integrity is one of those things that even when you think no one is looking at you, you still do the right thing. You know, that integrity sets us apart. I tell you, integrity, commitment. You've got to be committed to the job. You're not just in it because you're wearing a badge or for the money, because you won't get rich being a deputy. But you've got to be committed to serving the people. So integrity,
Okay.
commitment, and professionalism.
Okay.
They've got to have that.
And you can pick that up in the interview.
I can pick it up.
All right.
Yes, sir, I can pick it up.
All right, all right. Come on, Mr. Hill.
I would say integrity, because my main thing is not what you do when people are looking, it's what you do when people are not looking. That's a big county. You're going to be out there a lot by yourself in these rural areas. Integrity is a must, and loyalty, and dependability. The reason I say dependability, when you run in a small department, 12 men, 12 deputies, if I'm not mistaken, if one calls out, you're in a bind. So you really want to look at this track record of this person that you hire and see if he's dependable. That's very important in a small department.
Okay, now, you use the word loyalty. All right? So define loyalty to who, and I'm going to ask you the same question. Can you pick these qualities up in the interview?
Loyalty to what you believe in as a law enforcement officer. When you put on that badge to serve and protect, and your fellow officers and your fellow law enforcement officers, whether it be with the sheriff department or just to the whole complete law enforcement environment and what it entails, and like I said, serving and protecting in the communities, and loyalty to yourself, to know to enforce the law. Say, for instance, you got domestic violence laws.
Okay.
And the state has very specific guidelines for domestic violence.
Okay.
If you see evidence of any type of physical altercation, you shall and must make an arrest.
Okay, all right.
The loyalty part comes in. If you're there and you, as a deputy, and you see this and you fail.
All right, Mr. Hill, hold on now. Hold on. I don't want your campaign speech right now.
Okay.
You want to
I have to say something about loyalty. I truly believe loyalty is earned. It's the same as with respect.
Okay.
Loyalty is a two-way street.
Okay.
I'll be loyal to the deputy.
Okay.
And in return, they'll be loyal to me.
you.
So
All right.
it's an earned thing.
All right.
Along with respect.
I agree with that.
Now, serving as the current sheriff of Alva County, how far off are these 3 gentlemen on qualifications? And rank, what percentage of your deputies meet these qualifications? If you agree with these qualifications, you may have your own.
No, they all gave excellent answers to what you're looking for in a deputy sheriff. Loyalty being one of the top ones, dependability being my second one, I would say. Intelligence being another quality. I currently am blessed with a great staff. All my deputies have all those qualities already. I don't have to go out and hire them. You got to remember that a deputy, you might be relying on him to save your life one night. He might be relying on you. And it's very important that you trust the deputy to do his job and he trusts you to do yours. Like I said, those were all excellent answers, and something you would want in every employee you have. I currently have that in my employees. They do a great job. One of the candidates against me, brother, is a lieutenant in my department, and he does an excellent job.
Okay.
So,
All right. Now, let's talk from the business perspective. All of you right here at this table would tell me about your law enforcement experience. Y'all wouldn't hesitate to do that. Y'all would tell me that. But let me tell you what I'm interested in. And you can correct me, Sheriff. I believe that the majority of the sheriff's job is administrative. I really believe that. You can have all the law enforcement skills that you want. But now I'm personally saying that you got to have some administrative skills. I'm all far off with that, Sheriff.
that's correct.
Okay, now, I want you to talk about your administrative skills. And before we close, if you want to talk about your law enforcement skills, that's fine. And let me tell you one reason why the administrative skills are so important from my perspective, okay? you got to go through the county commissioners for everything you want. Am I correct with that, Sheriff?
Almost everything. Yeah.
Almost everything. Now, I've gone to several county commission meetings. I've seen you there a couple of times, Sheriff. I'm not sure that I've ever seen any of these other gentlemen there. And I know they're always crying broke. I know that. But you still got a job to do, and I think somebody said about paying your deputies. Okay? So tell the voters about your administrative skills and how you can maneuver with I'm gonna use the word hostile, with a hostile county commission. Who want that first?
I'll take it.
I don't care who wants to go first.
Well,
I can take it if you want me to tell you about what I've been doing.
Well, you go last.
Okay.
You go last, since you already have to deal with it. Is that fair to y'all?
Yeah,
We let it go last?
That's fair.
Okay, which one do you want to go first?
I'll go first. For the administrative skills, I've held numerous administrative positions, from interns to what have you, and working for the last 3 years, assistant running attorney school for Eufaula City School, which we're governed by the Board of Education, people that's on the board, dealing with, as far as, if you want to relate that, for as county commissioners. But I also noted that I would take 20% of my salary and donate it towards the deputies of Barber County, so they can, in fact, have a raise.
Hold on a minute. Let me ask you a question. Is that possible? Can that be done?
I'd have to look it up, and I think there's a law against it, but I
Well,
don't know for sure.
Well, the basic law that the sheriffs can have a minimum payment of the state of Alabama, I think it's $50,000, is a minimum you can pay a sheriff in Barber.
Not in Barber County, it's lower than that.
Well, okay,
No,
but there is a minimum.
Let me tell you what I've done. Let me tell you what I've done, so you gentlemen would know. I've done my homework.
Yeah.
I wouldn't bring you in front of me and in front of this camera if I have not done my homework. And I'm gonna caution all of you about your campaign promises and statements. Some things, the county commission ain't gonna let you do that.
Okay.
So some things that they're not gonna. It's just like we had a governor that said he wasn't gonna take his salary, but we had to pay him.
Yes.
And he took his salary and put it into a special account. But he could not take his salary and give it to his workers. He had to put it in a special account. And he said, well, when unemployment got to a certain rate, then he would get his money. So if we're not paying you and you get it down, what we gonna do? So we had to put it in a special, some things we just can't do.
Okay.
You follow what I'm saying?
Okay.
Some things we just can't do.
To answer that, I'll go on record as saying,
Okay.
I looked into it from the legal aspect of it. And once that minimum, what you said was lower, I think 47, I'm giving the 47, that's my money. I could be mistaken, but like I said, I had legal advisement on that I could, in fact, take my own money and do what I want with it outside of what the state, minimum salary is for sheriff. Now, I could be, with the legal advice
Okay.
that's why I'm going on record
All
to say
right.
that I did seek,
Okay,
I didn't just come in empty-handed, I did seek a legal advisement on that.
We'll come back to that.
Right.
Because one of these things that I've been proud of on this show
Right.
so far, I've never had any confrontation with anybody.
Right.
You understand? I just remind you that this is on camera and people can pick it up at any time. And that go ahead, Mr.
In reference to administrative, I'll look at it from two standpoints. One, as ensuring that all of your I's are dotted and your T's are crossed on your paperwork. Paperwork is very important. If it's not written, it didn't happen. You got to make sure you got a jail there, there's paperwork, there's federal documentation, there's all kind of documentation. You've got to make sure that it's done right. So administrative, as far as paperwork goes, I think I'm pretty up to par on paperwork. Now, the other side of the administrative is being able to sell, verbally sell what you need and get what you need, whether it's from the county commissioner or an outside source. Being able to talk that talk and walk that walk. Being able to, you can get a lot of things simply by asking for
Okay, now.
the right way.
Now, you brought something up.
Yes.
Tell us about the outside source. You said county commissioners, which has the outside source. You said county commissioners, which has the responsibility
Yes.
taking care of the sheriff's department.
Yes.
Then you use the word outside.
Outside source. And what I mean by that, there's a lot of grants. There's different grants that's outside of the county commissioner that you could get for vehicles, equipment, and things of that nature to help furnish the sheriff department. You can get training outside source. I'm a certified instructor. So I know a lot of contacts. I have a lot of networks to get different training and resources. So that adds to it. Keeping your people trained and up to date is very important.
Now, let me ask you this question.
Yes, sir.
Let me ask you this question. And I got a reason. If you went out and got some outside sources to supplement the sheriff department,
Yes, sir.
would that not have to be approved by the county commission?
When you get a grant, when you go out and get a vehicle grant, that money comes strictly from the government. It's paperwork you have to fill out. We're back to that paperwork again. You got to make sure all those I's are dotted and T's are crossed. And when that paperwork is submitted, it's not submitted through the county commission.
All right.
It's an outside source. It's police departments do it. I've been a chief of police and I did that. I didn't have to go through the city council to actually grant or request vehicle. But once we get it, you got to do right by it. You got to do the standard as what laid out.
So you were saying that you got the administrative skills to take care of the administrative part of the job?
Yes, sir.
Come on, Chief.
I have got, matter of fact, I used to work with Piggly Wiggly stores. And one of the stores that I worked at as the manager of it, which was Bonifay, Florida, we did about $125,000 a week in sales. And also had about around 60 different employees there that it worked, whether part-time and full-time. And therefore, you had to keep within a budget area of your monies in order to be able to show a profit to them, in order to be able to show a profit to them, to be able to keep working for them. And also, the pastoral part, I've 33 years of budgeting with the church. As being a pastor yourself, you know that you take part of what comes in and what goes out. You know what you've got and what you don't have. But, working with a year as a chief deputy with the sheriff department, I work with the county commissioners. It's give and take. You have to give in order to be able to get from them. And I believe with all my heart that working with them, and doing what you can, like I said, it's a give and take.
Okay. All right, now, sir. a lot has been said. And trust me, I'm not trying to put you on the spot. I want you to go last because you're sitting in the seat.
Right.
And we can have all kind of dreams.
Right.
What we're gonna do, but if you're actually doing it. I'd say, man, if I was chief of police, I'd do this. If I was an instructor, I'd do this here. If I was at the attorney school, I'd do this here. But to get down to the real nitty gritty, you gotta get somebody that's actually doing it.
Yes.
That's right.
All that sounds easy to me. It does. It sounds like if that's that easy to get a car like that. Tell us, Chief.
Well, I've been an administrator of the sheriff department for the last going my 8th year as sheriff, so I've had to do the job. Before that, we're talking about budgets. I've done the budget since Marshall Williams was sheriff. I always filled it out. I always had that request things for us. It's filling out a budget. It's real great. You put out everything you want on the budget and what you think it'll take to run the sheriff department, but you never get what you think it takes to run the sheriff department. The law requires the county commission to pay it. They have to fund the sheriff with an adequate budget to run his department. The simple fact is, it just doesn't happen. So you have to pick and choose your battles. You might want something. You might want 5 new cars, but you got to settle for 2. You might want a brand new fingerprint system. You might have to settle for something else. You pick the things that are more important to you, or more important to the success of your department, and fight for them as hard as you can. You might have to let some of the other dreams go by. The simple fact is, you can sit up here and spout all these ideals about what you're going to do and what you're not going to do as sheriff. You won't know until you're sheriff.
Now, okay, let's take some of the things that have already been said.
Okay.
And this is a chance to disprove or not. Is it possible? Mr. Peterson had a great idea. He said it very elegant about grants.
Right.
Is it possible to go outside of the county commissioner and get grants to run your sheriff?
Sure it is. For equipment, mostly. It's what you're going to get mostly. You can get grants for patrol cars, bulletproof vests, things like that. Problem is, with these grants you get, a lot of them are matching grants. Might be 50%, might be 10%, but the county commission has to match that. Recently, we had a grant to purchase, but it was going to pay for half the cost of a bulletproof vest for every officer. The county commission didn't have the money to pay their half, so we weren't able to get it. When the cops grant was out, I filled out the paperwork and got 3 positions for it. But the county commission had to match their salary. I willing to say it was 10% for 3 years, something like that. I don't remember exact numbers on it. They turned that down, so we couldn't get it.
So it goes back to my original statement, and correct me if I'm wrong, any of you gentlemen. When it comes to running the sheriff department, I don't care where you go to get your money, it still boils down to the county commission.
That's correct. That is correct.
The salary is set by the county commission. The equipment you get is set by the county commission. The number of deputies is set by the county commission. The county, I'm going to tell these guys this so they'll know what I'm sure they heard me say it before, but the county commission only pays the deputies $18,900 a year. That's what they are paid from the county commission. I raised their salary with a tobacco tax that Sheriff Marshall Williams had passed at $24,000 a year. That's the reason they got a raise. But the county commission is still only paying them $18,900. And the patrol cars are paid for by pistol permit money. The citizens don't pay for the patrol cars.
Okay, now, let's do this. Let's do this. I've heard the chief say that he knows county commissioners that when you say you worked with them.
Yes.
Excluding the sheriff, so it's going to be Mr. Pitts, Mr. Hill in this question. What kind of relationship do you have, or if you have, with the current county commissioners?
Well, I know all of them. I've worked with the sheriff department back in '96. I think Earl Gilmore was on the county commission then. I dealt with him back then. The same aspect the sheriff was talking about, when you have to go through the county commission, this, that, or the other. And I know Mr. Franklin, Ms. Cruz, actually all of them except with the exception of one, I believe. But I dealt with the county commission. I worked for sheriff departments in state and out of state. And for as Barber County wise, I dealt back in '96 with the Barber County Commission then, which looked like they're running on the same guideline now in 2014.
Same pay scale.
Exactly, the same pay scale from 15 years ago.
I do know some of them on a personal level, but I think as sheriff, and like I said earlier, part of that administrative and part of that being able to talk is to build that relationship. Because as sheriff, you're going to have a relationship with them. So you have to build that relationship. I think I have the ability to do that.
Would any of you, to include the sheriff, would any of you have any objection to publish on a quarterly basis what you have presented to the county commissioner for your department and they turned it down? Would you have any trouble with that?
That's public record.
I mean, I present a budget every year, and the requested budget, and they'll give you what they give you. You go to a meeting, with the finance committee, and you talk about it, and they try to talk you, for money for this, not for this. So yeah, that's public record about what I've requested and what we've actually got.
Same with the matching grants, is that the same?
Mostly, if like the cops grant, that was presented at a county commission meeting. We've got this grant approved. All we need to do is match this funding. Of course, the budget had already been done before the grant came out, so we didn't know we needed that funding. And they just said, no, we don't have the money. So.
And two, with the budget that he makes, you can take those funds there. If you're in need of something here that you've had to get, you kind of borrow from Peter to pay Paul. You got different funds out there, in that budget that you can take from in order to be able to keep the books right, and stay within the budget.
It's a line item budget.
Line item, that's it.
Now let's talk about personnel. And all we can go by what we see. That's all we can go by, what we see. All I can go by is see. I have not seen female deputy. Not seen a female deputy. Come on. I ain't been to the jail, but I've not seen a female deputy. I've seen one black male deputy, but I understand we got two.
That's correct.
I understand we got two.
You're talking about deputies, not jail personnel.
No, so I'm talking about deputies.
Okay.
You're gonna have to tell me about the jail. I have not been up there. I have not been up to the jail, but we're gonna talk about the jail shortly. But how can we get the confidence of the people? Now, let's go here first. They talk about they for the people. Y'all running for the people. How can you get the confidence of the people, male and female and minorities, if we've never seen nobody look like us? Is that fair to address?
That's all you want. It's your show.
You're a good man. Come on. Let's Mr. Peterson, you address that first, and then I'm gonna go to you, Chief. Then we go to Mr. Hill, and then we'll come back to the show.
Okay.
I mean,
How can you get the confidence of the people if you never see anyone look like us? That's my chair.
but let me tell you why I'm asking y'all that question.
Okay.
Y'all open that door, because y'all, we for the people, we running for the people, and people taking care of my campaign and all that stuff. All right?
Yes.
So sooner or later you got to deal with it.
Yes.
So why not deal with it in your campaign? Tell us about it.
Well, as sheriff, when I advertise for a position, I'm advertising for whoever qualifies. It's not a certain race, or if a person of color puts in for it and they're qualified, well then naturally, I could see hiring. But you've got to be able, and one thing I want to do is I want to try and keep it local. You know, and not have people that's with the Barber County Sheriff's Department that live 2 counties over and driving their cars home. That to me, that presents a problem as well. So I want to try and stay. I think we got good people, black and white or whomever, in Barber County that's capable of doing the job. But we just got to put the opportunity out there. So I'll put the opportunity out.
Let me ask this question to the
Yes, sir.
sheriff, and maybe my question, we can move on to another question.
Yes, sir.
Is there a mandate, Sheriff, that you got to have so many women, so many minorities?
Not that I'm aware of.
Okay, all right. My question is,
You pick the best qualified person out of the applicants, no matter if they're a woman or a man, or
Yes.
black or white, Chinese, Mexican.
and that's all left up to you?
Who I hire is up to me.
I could be wrong,
All
Sheriff.
right, let me ask you this question then. Let me ask you this question. There's not an affirmative action plan for the sheriff department. Am I correct in assuming that?
That we have to hire a certain percent of minorities.
Affirmative action plan. I used to write from that. Affirmative action plan say, I'm gonna have so many females, I'm gonna have so many minorities by this period of time.
No.
You got that? Okay. All right. So now, I'm gonna rephrase my question.
Okay.
I'm gonna rephrase my question, since there's no mandate for that. Would that be a concern of yours? Would that be a concern of yours? Would it be a concern of yours to have deputies that reflect the community, both female and race-wise? Would that be a concern? I'm gonna go back to you, ask you the first question, I'm gonna give you a chance to answer, then we're going to the chief, then we're going to see, then we're going back here to the sheriff.
As sheriff, I want the deputy staff to complement the population. You know, we have a mixture of people. That's my focus. It's good integrity, commitment, professionalism. If you think you can meet the task, regardless of race or color or sex, then join us. And that's what I'm standing for. It doesn't matter what color you are, how much money you got, or if you don't have anybody. If you meet the qualification, then come join us.
So technically, you could have a staff with no females and no minorities.
If they don't come up and apply, if they don't apply.
I understand that. We can't have nobody on the...
But I want to give them the opportunity to apply.
Okay.
You know, I'm not gonna be the type of sheriff that hand picks. I'm gonna put the opportunity out there so everybody has an opportunity.
All right. Come on, Chief.
Well, I've already been approached by many blacks that would love to come into the sheriff's department. They are qualified officers out there within our county that would like to transition, from a city to a county. And so I would most definitely, because there's certain places like Louisville, for instance, we have a mostly populated black community there. And it's good to have, one there in order to be able to, if you run into something, far as whatever, it's good to have one there with you. But I don't think, again, what Pete was talking about there, again, you got to have the qualified people, and you got to have them to come
Sure.
and want to come.
Sure.
And
Let me help you, Chief. Let me help you. Let me tell our viewers that when you say have one there, you didn't mean no harm. You didn't mean no harm. Let me help you with that. Now, sure. I'm telling the camera that I know you, and I know your heart, and I know that having one, you didn't mean no harm. That could be very offensive, but I know that wasn't your intent. So I'm helping you on the camera. Okay. Come on, Mr. Hill.
That was me that on this one right here. I work for a small police department. In Mississippi. There was only 2 black officers. The chief of police, who was a tri-state trooper and had worked undercover on a biker gang for 10 years, he sat me down and he hired me. He said, look, George, he said, I only have 2 black officers. And both of us play football for the University of Southern City. We want to be on the same shift. He said, y'all will never be on the same shift. He said, I have to have a black officer on both ends. When you're off, he has to be on. So it'll always be a black officer on duty at all times. Basically, he split us up to serve the purpose of the community. If I'm elected sheriff of Barber County, I will say this. I feel like the community should be represented by a deputy. When you look at, I would like to bring a deputy out of Rocky Mount. If I can find one to meet the qualification, certification, I will go out and look for this deputy, to recruit a deputy, to put him up there. That way, when he's off duty, that car is up there. I got an emergency, want to have another deputy, he can come out. Then we get on the other end, Cloud, Louisville, those other rural areas, which is predominantly white residents. I would like to have a white deputy that's from that area that these people can relate to. I mean, when you're in law enforcement, you're trying to develop the trust of the community. I mean, we want to say the right things and do the right thing when it comes to hiring blacks and white, but it's good when the community is represented by a deputy from their community, saying, I would like to put black deputies in the rural black areas and white deputies in the rural white areas. Okay. Not just a black and white thing. And before long, we will have to have a Hispanic deputy.
Okay. All right, now.
We've had one before.
Oh, you have one. That's a good thing.
Right before I get to you, Chief, to let you address this issue, I think that's something that none of us thought about, and that is that we can't have but a certain number of deputies.
Say that.
Go ahead, Chief. Go ahead. Go ahead, Sheriff. Go ahead.
The county commission, once again, only allots a certain number of deputies.
And what is that number?
I believe it's 12 right now and a school deputy. So, we have a school resource officer. He's a deputy too, but he works the road and he's not school not in. And the school pays for his salary. But in order to fill a position, you have to have an open position. Okay, to say you're going to put some blacks or you're going to put some Hispanics on the force will mean you're going to fire somebody that's already working there, or somebody's going to quit because you became sheriff, and you'll be able to do that. Now, once they retire or go on to most of the time a better paying job, then you can fill it out how you want to. But it shouldn't make a difference what color you are. It's if you're qualified to do the job and you know how to do it. That should make you decide who's going to be your deputy and who doesn't. We've had a black female officer before. She did a great job. She worked and she got disabled and finally retired. But and we filled that position as soon as when she came out.
The question is it a concern or consideration that we have a visual reputation of the community?
Would you
Do you think of that? Do you think of that when you hire?
You want me to answer?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I don't think of the visual representation of a person when I hire.
Okay.
I think of if they're qualified to do their job, if they're capable of doing the job. You might be the best visual. I might be a great visual representation of what a police officer is supposed to look. I might be a great visual representation of what a police officer is supposed to look like, but I might be the worst police officer on the planet. Would you rather hire that or somebody you think doesn't look like a cop is a really good cop? which one would you rather hire? Which one, if you were on the side of the road getting beat up or getting shot at, would you want coming to answer your call? Would you want somebody that's qualified to do the job, or somebody that's dressed up real nice when he gets there that doesn't know what he's doing?
Well, yeah, I want somebody to know what they're doing.
I might look great as an airline pilot. I can't fly a plane.
Yeah. All right, now let's talk about the jail.
Told you that.
Let's talk about the jail. Let's talk about the jail. Let me, before I move to the jail, I think the employment situation, I think that's something that we ought to be able to come to the table and talk about. Because I really believe there's some qualified females, there's some qualified African Americans, there's some qualified Hispanics. And I grant you what you said, that you only got a certain number. But what an affirmative action plan would do is say that when the opening come up, this is what I'm going to consider. When the opening come up, I'm going to deliberately look for. You follow what I'm saying? Not fire nobody, but when somebody retire, whatever kind of opening come up, somebody quit. An affirmative action plan says by 2020, I want to have 5 females. I want to have 2 or 3. You understand what I'm saying?
That's great if they apply.
Yeah.
They're qualified. That's great. Yeah, sure, you can want that.
Okay. All right. Let's talk about the jail. Let's talk about the jail. I've sat in county commissioner meetings, and if any of you gentlemen have to go, you give me a sign and we'll cut this thing. But I've sat at the county commission meetings, and based on what I've heard at the meeting, that we got many problems at the jail. We got according to the I'm talking about what I'm hearing at the county commission. They talk about the condition of the jail, they talk about the staffing of the jail and things of that nature. What priority would you give the jail? Now nobody that's locked up is locked because they want to be locked up. So they are there, and locked up is locked because they want to be locked up. So they are there and they're at a disadvantage. So what priority would we give the jail? And quite naturally, the sheriff is already the sheriff, so we'll save that question to last week. If these gentlemen don't mind.
Sure.
Y'all want the sheriff to address the jail first? And then
I would.
Okay, would you address the jail first?
What would you like to know about jail? I got lost in the questions.
Okay. Okay. Let's talk about the condition of it, the physical condition of it, and let's talk about the staffing of the jail.
Okay. The physical condition of the jail is it's been there since 1996. I believe George was working there when me and George were working there when they first populated it.
Sure was.
It's got some age on it now, and those inmates have 24 hours, 7 days a week to tear it up. They're always painting on the walls, and they're always stuffing stuff down the toilets. They're always breaking things. As much destruction as they can do, they will. I'm not saying that all of them do that. I'm just saying it goes on 24 hours a day. Now, the condition of the jail, as far as how it's maintained, is up to the county commission once again. They have to fund that. They have to see about it. All we do is put in work orders when something tears up. We send it to the county commission, and they are supposed to fix it. Currently, they don't even have a maintenance man works for the county, so they're having to subcontract things out. So things take a while to get done. A jail is one of the main concerns for any sheriff out there that has to run a jail. I mean, you have to keep the inmate safe while he's in jail. You have all kind of federal regulations you have to follow with the inmates, and then you have to keep them inside the jail so they don't get out, and do more harm to the public. I'm not saying everybody in jail is bad.
Yeah,
some of them just make bad decisions. But that's one of the top priorities of the sheriff. The staff of the jail, the ones we've got are extremely loyal workers, because if they weren't loyal workers, they wouldn't be working for minimum wage. That's once again, they get paid minimum wage, and that's what the county commission pays them. Okay, if I could raise their salary to $15, $20, $30, $40, whatever I could raise to, I would. Every year I put in for a raise, every year I decline.
So if you could do like George, say he's gonna do it, then.
Well, he doesn't realize he's only going to get paid $47,500 a year.
How many staff personnel you have in the jail that's staffed 24 hours?
Just staff 24 hours. Yeah. I knew you were going to ask that question. You did.
How you knew that?
I just knew it.
You're a prophet.
You got 18 workers at the jail. 18 workers.
18 workers?
Right. 18 employees. You have 18 jail staffers. and 17 deputies and office workers. So that's the ones that work in the office and everything. And there are actually 18, I'm gonna go ahead and answer this, well, I should have answered last time, but there's
Okay.
18 black employees total, 17 white employees total.
Now, wait.
That's all total employees.
Okay, now, at the jail,
No, that's the total department.
total
Total
department.
department, yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
all right. Now, your office is at the jail?
My office is at the jail.
Okay, so we got, let's talk about the jail. How many staff personnel we got at the jail?
18.
We got 18 at the jail. And how many of those 18 are actually jailers?
All of them have to do dual purpose.
Oh, really?
They're jailers and dispatchers. 3 shifts, 24 hours, 7 days a week.
So on any given day or any given shift, we go to the jail and that's 18 folks. Is that what you're saying?
No, that's total employees. That's
Okay,
total
no,
employees.
okay, let's do it like this here. What time is it? 3 o'clock. If we was to go to the jail at 3 o'clock this afternoon, we left this show and went to the jail, how many people should we expect to see on that shift?
At 3 o'clock, the shift changed, so you'll see 8.
And 4 are going on.
Normally, you're gonna see four
Okay,
jailers.
okay.
I mean, 4 jailers at work. And that's if somebody's not taking a day off or anything like that. There's times when there's not but 2 employees working at jail because they're so understaffed.
Okay, now okay, now, it's 3 o'clock, your office is closed. So what is the responsibility of those 4 people that's on at 3 o'clock?
They are to answer the phone, any incoming calls that come to the jail. All right, we don't have 911 at our office. It's at Eufaula Police Department now, so we don't have to do that. But they have to, see about the inmates. In a great day, it would be 2 people back there working, and to see about the inmates total. 2 people to work up front to take over dispatching for the sheriff department in Louisville and Clive and Baker Hill. We do dispatching for them, so they'll be doing all that and answering the phones.
If a 911 call comes in,
It
it
goes
comes
to
to
the
the,
Eufaula Police Department.
and then you follow police department, get in touch.
If it's for us, they'll call us by the phone, and then our dispatcher dispatches. If it's an emergency, they'll just dispatch us straight over the 911 channel.
All right, okay. Gentlemen, let's talk about the jail. You've heard the sheriff said any given shift after hours is 4 folks that takes care of all of the inmates.
And that's if nobody's got an annual holiday or taking or an annual day or anything.
You actually get down to 2. You
You
actually
get down to 2, yes.
you never less than 2.
Sometimes you'll get 1 day, but you have to call in somebody and pay them overtime to come in.
And those that are on, they're responsible for not only the prisoners, but they're responsible for the phone and dispatch.
Correct.
And hope that nothing go wrong.
Hope so.
All right, come on, gentlemen, let's talk about, who want to talk about
He's
the jail?
absolutely right. I mean, what he was talking about, concerning that, it's true. You're limited to what you got down there, for us the dispatch and stuff. They stay stretched out.
What is the number of inmates can you have at the jail?
Well, we got a 98-bed facility.
98
Most of the time we run about 115, 120 inmates. But we only have 98 beds.
We'll talk about that in a minute. Go ahead, I'm sorry to cut you off.
But, when you're stretched out like they are, which that it's the truth, only thing that the inmates can do to help, kind of alleviate some of the stuff that needs to be done there at the jail, as far as cleanliness, is, have them to clean it up. Clorox, number 1, good disinfectant, keep it clean. But as far as the employees, it is what it is.
Let me do this, and y'all can be getting ready to make your closing statements because my time is getting real.
Can I comment on the jail?
Whenever we talk about whatever you want, but we're gonna have to keep it within 2 minutes. Okay? Time-wise, I'm ready over. Thank you, Tony. I'm already over time. But I want to say this to the listening audience, as I always say, if you have any questions for any of these candidates, you write your question and drop it off here at the bread bag. This becomes my studio at 2 o'clock when I need to use it. But you drop it off. You drop your questions off, and if it's for one particular candidate, I'll make sure that they get that question. And we get enough questions, we'll get them all back together on the show again, if they want to come, and we will deal with whatever questions that you may have My purpose today is to try to get as much information to you, the voters. I want you to be an informed, intelligent voter. And I want to give you as much information as I can. I want you to meet these candidates and so you can see them for yourself. Some of you may not have seen these gentlemen, and I hope that I help. And if you've seen them for the first time, then I feel good. I've done something. I've done something. And what we're going to do now, we're going to let them give their closing statements. They're going to give a 2-minute closing statements. I want you to know you're watching Gumbo Live every Thursday night at 7 p.m. on channel 97, or if you have a Bright House. You can also pull this program up on YouTube and Google, and so wherever you are, if you got friends out of state, out of country, tell them to pull them up and look at these candidates. I think we got some fine candidates and for sheriff of Barber County. And all right, gentlemen, how you want to do? Anybody want to volunteer to go first? How you want to do it? George, since you want to say a little bit more than what we asked you to. Go ahead. We'll let you go. Go ahead.
But actually, back to the jail.
Sure.
Back in '96, me and Sheriff Upshaw worked the jail together. In the back, we had 2 in the back, 2 in the front. It was a brand new jail then. And we had a maintenance man, I think it was Marshall Williams Jr., which down here stated they don't have a maintenance man. So that's very important to have our own staff maintenance man with the county, other than contracting out, county to save money. Also, if I'm elected sheriff, I have a plan to implement a work center, which is where I think you got people working at the chicken plant now, comes back to the jail. What I would do is set up, it could be done with an old school, Louisville school, you can set up some trailers or whatever. All inmates that are working, going out to work, house them in a different facility, which will keep down contraband also, by having them separate, kept in a separate housing area, instead of bringing them back in the jail. So they're going out to the free world, coming back in, and all sorts of contraband gets in like that. And they'll allow more privilege. What I would do is set up a work center, which will have all inmates with misdemeanor crimes who are working out fines, nonviolent crimes, such as, open containers or whatever, what you have, there's a working out fine, put them in different housing areas, which will take time and money to develop. That's just say for the near future, okay, which will cut down some of the hardship on the jailers by alleviating this. And let it be combined with the city of Eufaula Police Department so they can share the expense. So they can send some of their misdemeanor inmates to this location as well. Let both of us share the expense, and that'll cut down.
You open a lot of doors that we really don't have time to do right now. But let me suggest something. Let me tell you what I would like to see. I would like to see all 4 of you go to the county commissioners and introduce yourself to the county commissioners and try, because y'all know what I'm going to say is the truth. You're going to need the county commissioners.
Oh, yes.
They can make your job a lot easier. They can make it miserable. They can make it miserable. You follow what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So I think it would just be a grand idea, man, just to go take them to lunch or something, hold their hand or something. Go ahead, Mr. Big.
You make a valid point, and if elected sheriff, what I've heard in this panel somewhat is what I've heard is that the county commissioner won't do this, county commissioner won't do that. I don't want to get into finger pointing. What I want to do as sheriff is to build that relationship with the county's commission. I think that's what's lacking in a lot of areas. You've got to have that relationship, both on and off duty. You've got to have that relationship in order to move forward and get most of the things you need to operate on it, because you've got to have them. So building that relationship. I don't want to, every meeting I have where I have to say the county commission didn't do this, don't do that, or don't do this. I want us to work together as a team to make this whole thing work.
All right. Chief?
Well, for the year that I had worked with them, we had a good relationship, and I know each one of them, and we have a good relationship at present moment, and I feel like that we could push some things through that are needed to be done. I desire to be sheriff of Barber County for one reason and one reason only, is to be there for the people and to be able to help them. And I'm asking the people of Barber County to give me that opportunity to work for them. And
All right? Sure.
If I am re-elected the sheriff for my third term, and I will continue to provide Barber County with quality law enforcement as I have in the past 8 years. My guys do a great job. Anybody that says they don't do a good job probably got arrested by them, so they don't like it. But as far as the county commission goes, I've got a little closer relationship to them now than I have had in the past. I've learned from my mistakes, and you're going to make some no matter who is sheriff. You're going to make mistakes, but you've got to learn from them. So I'm asking each person out there to go vote to re-elect Leroy Upshaw as sheriff of Barber County for his third term, and so we continue to keep Barber County a safe place to raise our families.
The election is June the 3rd.
June the 3rd.
And shame on you if you don't go vote. Shame on you if you don't go vote. June the 3rd, you got a choice. That's what America's all about. America's all about choice. So there's no excuse for everybody not to go vote. If you have not already registered to vote, go register. If you see me, I always got voter registration cards with me. Vote on June the 3rd.
We're going to have voter ID this year.
Yes. Thank you, Chair. Got to have voter ID. Now, where they coming to the library? They're coming somewhere in town.
They're coming somewhere in town.
Yeah, but you can go right across the street to the courthouse and take care of that. Having a voter ID, you can take, if you got a driver's license, what that work?
Any picture ID
Okay. Any
that
picture
you
ID.
didn't make.